Parliament of Igembe South constituency, who's also a member of the budget committee that is getting the views of Kenyans from different counties concerning the 2023-2024 budget that will be read next month for the financial year 2023-2024. And so, of course, the residents wanting, infrastructure when it comes to roads and health, getting a higher chunk. They want those two sectors to get a good allocation when it comes to the budget. But then, away from Meru County, we head now to Nyeri County, where the stalemate between county governments and the National Treasury continues as the county governments yet again threaten to shut down services at the counties. Now, this morning, Clement Masombo is speaking to the governor of Nyeri, Mutahi Kahiga, on how the stalemate has affected operations at the devolved units. Clement Masombo, good morning. Kindly bring us up to date with what the governor has to say about this.
Well, very good morning to you, Brenda. Indeed, as the stalemate continues between the county governments and the National Treasury, the county governments are yet again threatening to shut down services at the county levels. And what does that exactly mean? It is for that I want to speak to the governor of Nyeri, Mutahi Kahiga. The stalemate is on, Governor. This is something that has always been there. And you are saying that you want to shut down services at the county levels. What does that exactly mean?
Thank you very much. I want to support the chair of the Finance Committee, FPE, Baraza, the governor of Kakamega, and just to put it clearly, tomorrow we'll be having a COG meeting to really deliberate on that matter, because the CS Treasury and the PS have redeemed on a promise and an agreement we made on the 2nd of May when we had a meeting between ourselves and themselves. Remember, we had threatened to close down counties earlier, but then we sat down and agreed on a route path. But currently now, as we look at it today, by the end of yesterday, the counties were owed about 94.3 billion, which is disbursements for March, April, and May. And when we look at that, really, it is like we want to ground the counties, even though, because we've been operating on credit, we need to pay our creditors, those whom we owe, their contractors who have worked so hard. Our hospitals are running dry. There are no drugs. Doctors, some counties are not even able to raise salaries. And this is a big challenge. And we would want to remind the professor that in that meeting we did agree on the following, that by the 15th of this month, we would have received I think it is the 29.6 billion for the month of March. And then at the end of May, we would be receiving then the 33.3 billion and the 31.45 billion for May and June. And the whole reason is because we would not want a situation where we cannot spend. We get money, but there is, because of the challenges of IFMIS, the closure of that system and timelines and everything. Remember, by the end of this month, 31st of May, we shall close down our procurement. The system closes down. You cannot procure from there. And so what are we saying? We are saying that continued delaying of disbursement to counties is really affecting the economy. This economy that we are hyping around and saying we are trying to revive. We need to ask ourselves, when we pay the 94.5 billion or something, that money is money injected into an economy that is ailing and will help lift up that economy. When I look at Nyeri alone, we could pay to around 285 million every month as salaries. It's money that comes to this county, generates economic activity, and we are able to proceed. So now, we would want to say that yes, as counties, there is a very negative effect on the delay of disbursements, because justice delayed is justice denied. If anybody was supposed to get drugs 2 days ago and has not gotten the drugs, if anybody will die because we cannot provide certain services, then that one automatically becomes a challenge. And therefore we would want to ask the professor, Despite all the challenges you have, you must also prioritize counties and ensure that counties receive their money when and how they are supposed to do, because any other delay definitely has a very, very negative effect on the economy.
And Governor, maybe when you say that you are intending to shut down services at the county governments, maybe what kind of services are you talking about?
We are simply saying, really, if you cannot pay salaries, you are not going to work with a demoralized staff. They will just, be on a go slow. We are saying we will close down all county services except two, which are the medical and usually the fire services. The rest we just close down. I'm going to take a summer holiday too and stay at home and ask my staff to be at home, because why would they may not even have fare to come to work. So the truth of the matter is that counties have 10 departments that provide a myriad of services to wananchi, and therefore you will not pay for licenses, you will not be able to get agricultural services, animal, livestock, and all those. They're quite a number. So really, we need to look at it from the bigger picture. Governments are put in place by wananchi so that they provide services, be the national government or the county governments. I don't know whether you are even aware that in terms of the devolved functions, the library function is our library is a devolved function. It's never been devolved. Money, we do not even know what is happening. 33 counties have libraries, which almost total to around 485 million Kenyan shillings per year, which should be devolved. It's not being devolved. In other words, we are saying, please, let's follow the constitution. Let's do what we are supposed to do. Let us release functions to counties and release requisite funds. Currently, you all understand, if we cannot pay our ECD teachers, then they will have to close down their schools, because our children cannot come and be left alone to wander, and it's dangerous because the teacher. So really, let's not get to that. We have told the CS. The deadline was 15th. You promised, you haven't delivered. So kindly, is he going to mitigate, or what do we do?
Yeah. Lastly, Governor, and very briefly, you are a second-term governor. Yes. The stalemate has been there previously, and we are still experiencing it right now. What is the way forward? What is the best way forward to deal with this stalemate? The
way forward is simple. Follow the constitution. Follow the law. The law stipulates clearly what is the first charge in any government revenue. It is debt. So we first pay debt. Number one. The second one is release money to counties. So when we are not releasing money to counties, we are breaking the law. Pay loans. The next thing we should do, the next charge should be county money. Then from the counties will go and do when the counties then get, the first charge is debt. And that is how we clear our pending bills. So now, when we hold on to the money, keep it around there, think that counties are, and by the way, it is important to tell National Treasury, you are not meant to be partisan. You are meant to be a non-partisan arbiter. When the money comes, the National Treasury should not talk about national government and then county. They should just do what the law says. And by the way, it is also important to say that we would also want to ask Parliament to move a little bit faster, because the Auditor General has audited accounts as current as last year, but one's account. But Parliament is 2 years behind. That is why we continue getting less money. And you saw the stalemate that was there. We, as the Council of Governors, demanded 425 billion. The CRA, or Commission for Revenue Allocation, allocated 407. But the Senate, for a very odd thing, the Senate, who should be supporting and defending the counties, sold us out and took 385 as the figure that will come to counties in the next year. That one is a tragedy for devolution.
All right, thank you so much, Governor Mutahi Kahiga. Brenda, you've just heard it from the Governor of Nyeri, and he is saying that the only way to deal with this stalemate going forward is to follow the law and release the funds as stipulated in the Constitution. Perhaps that's their clarion call to the National Treasury when it comes to disbursement of funds to the county governments. And we shall also be waiting to see if at all they will make it to real their threats of shutting down services at the county government's level in wait as they wait for the monies from the national government. Over to you, Brenda.
Thank you so much, Clement Masombo, for that in-depth coverage, actually conversation with Mutahi Kahiga, the governor of Nyeri County, concerning that cash crunch at the county.